Truth is, um, God is real, and Satan is preventing you from seeing him, interacting with him, you know, talking with him. Truth is, when you look out in nature, when you look at the stars, when you look at the moon, the sun, all of these things are God. When you interact with a person, when you know, eat some good food, when you are enjoying your life, when you are overwhelmed with sadness or grief or happiness, you know, the spectrum of things. Now, when things are debilitating and when things are extremely negative to where you're suffering, those are not the works of, you know, God. Those are not the works of the Lord. Those are Satan. Now, are you gonna say Satan was a real entity? You know, was he real? Don't know. But is he a is Satan a metaphor for human behavior? Yes. You know, that's why the devil or demons or spirits have been used since the beginning of time to describe our ancestral parts, our demonic parts. You know, we ate, supposedly Adam and Eve ate the apple. So within every child since Adam, there has been a root of evil. There has been an inclination to sin. That is the interference from the devil. Now, in what ways does Satan prevent you from, you know, being with God and loving God? First of all, he will twist and warp your thoughts. He will manipulate the way you understand the world. He will most likely make you view it through a lens of guilt and shame and pain, and from a place of distance, from a place of beratement. So, like, you're berating yourself if you're chatting shit about yourself in your head or about other people. All of these are cycles of demonic, satanic, evil thoughts. These are not from God. God does not want you dwelling. God wants you thinking. God wants you pondering. He wants you to be joyful. He wants you to be critical. If there is places in your life where you need to improve, think about it. But don't. Why are you holding a knife to your throat, metaphorically, or with your thoughts? Why are you referring to yourself as bad or evil or all of these things that you need to be fixed or this and that? These come from negative spirals, negative thinking, satanic thinking. And in order to be more in line with God is to be awake, open your eyes, feel the sunlight, feel the oxygen, feel the air, basically. Feel the trees, look around, feel, embrace, be one. Right? You are of this world. That means you have power. So, power as in God-given power. We have as much power as we've been bestowed, but as we all know, mentally, we may think we don't have power, or we diminish our own power due to some reason. If you feel like you are not utilizing your power correctly or efficiently, or if you are feeling like the road you're going down is dark and hurtful and evil and painful, that's not the root of God. God is your conscience. God is the word. God is the voice. God is the feeling you get when you're unified with the world around you, when you're present, aware, when you're breathing, like that. Grounded, stable, here and now, you know, reflecting on what's going on. That is the God mind. That is the source. That is the That is the consciousness that we should all be working on, as opposed to on the level of survival and fear. Fear is mainly one thing. Listen, we're all here to live, okay? And living through fear for yourself is torture and meaningless, and really, you're not really living, you're just in fight or flight. And the more you live, the more you come to understand that the places where you dwell on have come from a place of unconscious, from a place of animalistic, lizard-like thinking of fear, whether that's you've rushed a decision in life, a job application, a relationship, a friendship, anything of that capacity. Maybe you self-sabotage, maybe you suck at routine, all of these things. The negative spirals that we tend to get into. Now, what's the point of this video? The point is to, as human beings, because we have that seed from Adam, because we have the Adam ate the fruit, and whether you see that as a metaphor, as human beings, we all have infinity within us, including the infinity of negativity and the infinity of positivity. So we are dual beings. We live in oneness, and so we try and separate ourselves. And when we separate ourselves, then we're not viewing ourselves as what we are. We are not categorizations. We are exactly what we are, you see. And so, because we are both things, we have the channel to go in either direction. And a lot of people tend to go towards the hell side, the negative thinking side, because naturally in our world we are inclined to do so. There's a lot of hurt and pain, and this like fear instinct is still very deep within us. We're all afraid, especially after lockdowns, especially after the social media crazes, and the world is in a very weird state right now. And we're all just trying to do our best. And I know many people like me who are in a state of like whatever, but all we can do is, and all we've ever done since the beginning of time, is just let things like try and meddle where we can, try and do things where we can, intervene with where we can, and day to day, bit by bit, that's all you can do. Put your faith in God, because that's where you came from. You came from Him. Whether you believe in God or not, the universe gave birth to you. Your mum gave birth to you, which means you came from nothing to something. Okay, you are born. You are all very special. And so, with this uniqueness that you are given, this DNA imprint, you can go through the world however way you see fit. However, we all have a calling. We all have a fire, a desire, a passion. We're trying to live it as best as possible. That comes from God. That comes from the source. That comes from, ultimately the place where we feel like we belong. What is natural to us, what is normal for us. And when it's not our calling, that's when we suffer. And so the more we try and stay true to ourselves, be present, feel our gut, like understand our instincts, what's right, what's wrong, in the moment, less in our heads, use this capacity that God has given us, to see the light, basically, see the positivity, and less of the spiralistic snake eating its own tail, like this endless feeding of negative energy. Just by you being aware and present of it, depends, like once you have that presence and awareness of the negative thoughts, you can do, if you're aware of it, then you're just like casting a light on it, then it really just does wither away. If you accept it, accept it, see it, accept it, and move on, really. Only when you try and chuck it, throw it, move it, toss it, resist it, that's when it grows. That's when it overtakes. We are yin and yang, goes back to duality. We are both sides of the coin, we're not one side. And through our oneness, we are all good, all pure, so we need to stop trying to run away from Source, from God. Be thankful to it, be grateful for it, for this experience, for this life, for this, for the family and friends that we have, and focus more on your breath. Try and thank God every morning, every time you eat, every time you sleep. Just try and be more thankful, more grateful, and listen to your conscience more. That is God talking to you. Try and understand what sources of information and insight comes from, why you behave and think the way that you do, why do you go in this direction as opposed to this direction, what makes you do what you do. And the more you try and understand yourself, sit in meditation. Meditation really is just sitting here, breathing, open eyes, close eyes, just sitting here, being aware, being present, not distracting yourself. Turn your phone off a lot. Tap into that child, that inner source, that oneness, because we are one. Ultimately, we are just complete. It's just we create those holes, whether it's through bad experiences or we create those holes for ourselves. They are formed, they are a structure in our subconscious or conscious, whatever they are. If we feel empty, if we feel there's a void, usually stems from desire. Like you're desiring for that, where that hole is, where that need is and want. You want it to be, you're saying that you don't have it. So you're saying to yourself you don't have it. And so then you'll ultimately always crave it. However, if you try and look at things as I already am whole and complete and one, I am good, everything's fine, then you start to prosper just by saying that you are. Because if you say that you have a hole, if you say that you have a hole, if you say like things are empty or there's no meaning or anything like that, then it becomes true. So try to be careful with what you cast out into the world, really, what type of energies you give off through your speech and your own internal thoughts and dialogue. And be awake, look through your eyes, okay? Look through your eyes, feel your senses, be present. Stop trying to predict everything, stop trying to understand everything. Those are places to work on, but ultimately all you could ever do is live and be here and now and calm and present and at peace. And with God, He's always watching, He's always viewing. He lives through you, you live through Him. And wishing you guys the best.